I guess you could say that right now we're beginning a new era, with a new shop, new goals, and new employees.
You got this under control there, Steve?
Yeah. Just gonna get it tied down nice and safe.
That'll be the first time it's ever been tied down, I can tell you that.
Tanner was busy loading up Billy's engine out of the S10 to take up to Uncle Bob's this morning while Billy and I hit the road.
So what's going on here, Junior?
So, if you guys remember, a few weeks ago we talked about kind of the future of small tire and the way things are heading in the sport.
Yeah.
Small tire no prep racing is getting really fast, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen, with the rules, and it doesn't look like anything's going to be done next year that I've seen for most of these races. So I've been looking for another car, a full tube chassis car, because the rules are wide open. It's basically just steel roof and quarters, 28s, that's it. When I originally bought my Nova, it was supposed to be, a big step up from the S10, and it was. We put the big block in it with the turbos and everything. It makes a lot of power, but it had factory frame rails in the front, and it has a factory firewall. And the reason I was excited about that is because at the time, our local rules stated that you had to have a factory firewall and at least factory frame rail from the firewall forward, and it had all that, so it was good. Now, since everybody has gone away from that, and it's just wide open, so we found this car on Facebook, and we're gonna go look at it. If it checks out, if everything measures out right, and the firewall's in the right place, the mid plate's in the right place, we're gonna pick this thing up and potentially put the setup out of the Nova in it. And then I'm not sure what we're gonna do with the Nova. I don't know if we're gonna keep it or maybe we raffle it off or something. It just depends, Every day or every year it changes rules wise, it seems like. So we're gonna go check this thing out and take you guys along with us.
Our first stop this morning was Park National Bank down in Hebron.
BRB.
Billy ran inside to get a cashier's check made out for the purchase price of a new race car he's looking at 8 hours away in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Our plan for right now is to drive up there, check the car out, purchase the car if it's what it's supposed to be, then turn and burn and come straight back home. That way I can be back tomorrow at the house to work on several of my own projects that I need to get taken care of, such as the one that I didn't get started on for Uncle Bucko before I left for Wisconsin.
Good grief. Where is everybody? Slacking as usual. What the he hasn't touched my carburetor yet. I gotta go in and find out where these numbnuts are.
In my defense, Buckwheat told me he was going to bring that carburetor down 8 hours before it got delivered to my shop. It's off this 55 Chevy 4-door that my dad recently purchased and wants Jeremy to turn it into a 2-door. The problem is right now it won't run.
Where's your husband at?
He's with Billy.
Where are they at?
You can't film me. My hair isn't curled.
It doesn't matter.
They're headed to Wisconsin.
Wisconsin? Well, how's he gonna fix my carburetor if he's riding around to Wisconsin? I gotta have stuff done. How am I supposed to drive that thing on the trailer if he's got the carburetor sitting over and hasn't touched it?
I don't know.
Jeez. You believe this shit, June? Left you behind too. You got screwed.
Yeah, she was not pleased.
By the time Buckwheat figured out that we had left without fixing his carburetor, we were almost an hour and a half away from our destination. Billy and I decided to take a route a little out of the way in order to avoid rush hour traffic through downtown Chicago. We took 294 out and around the west side of town, and traffic was still plenty heavy, but not nearly as bad as it is about 20 miles east of here. Billy called ahead up to the shop that we're headed to let him know we were about an hour and a half out. The place we're going to is called CPR Race Cars, and they were nice enough to go ahead and order some pizza for us so we could eat dinner while we were there. We were really impressed when we pulled in. The place is spotless clean. It's a really neat little shop, filled full of all kinds of really neat decorations, and really cool projects. Everything from a 68 Camaro to a 69 Nova, a little red Cobra, and even an actual Pro Mod. But the car we're here to see tonight is sitting in front of this green Nova. The white Camaro on the 4-post lift belongs to a customer of CPR. The car was listed yesterday on Facebook Marketplace by Jamie Gelting, and Billy just so happened to be the very first person to send him a message and ask about this Camaro. It's an original steel roof and quarter 1968 shell on a recently recertified NHRA 6.0 chrome moly tube chassis. Although there are some parts of the car that are a little outdated, it's definitely safer than anything we've ever had. Billy and Jamie went over the car together and checked everything out. It turns out the car is everything that Jamie claimed it to be. With a factory wheelbase, a well-executed 4-link rear suspension, clean tight 10 work, a 2-piece fiberglass nose, and the engine set way back in the chassis, which Billy had a running bet with Chief about how far it was set back.
How much did Chief bet? His whole dick, did you say?
His whole dick, so I don't know. That might be about 3 inches.
Oh! The engine in this chassis is set back 10 inches from factory location.
Well, what have we decided?
I think we're gonna do it. It's definitely a pretty nice car. It's one of those things. This car doesn't have a factory firewall, and it's moved back, 10 to 12 inches. Where my car, the engine's way
Stock
out there
location.
in the front, and it takes a while to get all that weight back and start applying power. You got to be real gentle the first 100 to 250 feet. So I think this car will work a lot better in the 60 foot and the 330.
So we're swapping wheels?
I think so.
We better go get some wheels in here and get to swapping then.
I'm ready.
Billy made a deal with Jamie that if he came to get the car, he didn't want the Billet Specialties wheels that are on it. So Jamie lowered the price, and Billy brought his own polished RC Comp wheels that just so happened to fit perfectly on this 68 Camaro. Once we had the wheels and tires swapped off the car, it was finally time to roll it outside and put it in the trailer so we can start our trip back towards Ohio. So we've made it home. I think we made it home about 5:30 this morning. The sun was just starting to come up when we pulled in the driveway. We went in the house, got some sleep, and now it's time to unload this thing and put it in the shop. You ready?
Gotta make sure it's real white, real bad. Yeah, I'm white. It does have brakes, so as long as I can get in it.
As long as there's not a strap involved, Robbie, I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be all right too.
trying to get it to go that way.
It's fine. It's coming by itself.
We're fighting each other.
Yeah, it's very light. We'll just let it hold it.
You got your jock cup on there, Robbie?
Yeah, dude, I got my gut covering it.
Jesus. Did you see in my video where I caught
seen it.
that?
It hit me right in the dick. I love your comment.
That was a rough day for Robbie.
It wasn't that weird.
Looking pretty good, Junior. Yeah, it's a feather.
Holy cow.
It is a feather. It doesn't even squeak. It's so light it doesn't even squeak when it rolls on the concrete. Yeah, we swapped tires. It had
Those are
some.
the wheels off the Nova.
Those fit really well.
They fit perfect.
I was excited because I wasn't sure if they were going to fit.
They fit perfect.
A lot better than they do on the Nova.
So the story here is the guy who had this car wants to run the No Prep Kings Outlaw 10.5 stuff, and it requires a stock firewall and I think stock front frame rails.
He wanted to put a big block with a Pro Charger in it with a 400, and this car's set up for a glide.
Yeah.
All my stuff has glides, so it's perfect. Can we still pick one on the Pro Charger? We still could. Dion builds a hell of a power glide. So. Yeah.
It don't weigh nothing, does it?
Put your baby in it, we'll rock it to sleep.
So, I mean, it's Billy's car, but if it was mine, I'm just saying if it was mine, chrome bumpers, chrome taillights, and I would really like to see the factory RS panel below the bumper with the reverse lights that work, vinyl top, and a factory color, and probably like the 68 SS stripes like what's on Denny's Camaro. That'd be sick. And the RS SS grille. Like, this is just airbrushed, which they did a pretty nice job. Yeah, it's been damaged a little bit here and there, but yeah, I mean, I think if it had a factory grille and factory RS hideaway headlights, that'd be sick.
Wednesday morning, my plan was to get up and try and get Tony and Tessa's Mustang put back in their trailer and get the trailer hooked back up to their Excursion. Sounds simple enough, but unfortunately I was in for a rough day. And it all began with a visit from Vicky's sister, who stops here every day to use the restroom and eat me out of house and home.
What do I owe the pleasure?
It's Wednesday.
Is it?
It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
I was just checking you. Don't butter up to her.
She's my favorite sister.
She just wants you to feed her.
And you're in the way of that,
Yes.
so be gone.
It just so happens that the highlight of my day, that me and the boys polished off the last of the chicken and noodles last night.
You're gonna have to have peanut butter jelly.
Peanut butter jelly or cheese on a bun.
Oh, that's just too bad.
You could have went and got me lunch today.
So at that point, I go outside to do battle with the elements and Tess and Tony's Ford Excursion.
We fired up that Excursion. We were going to use the Excursion in the trailer to go up and get that Camaro. And unfortunately, when I started it up, I think it was Monday morning, I started it up, it had some ice in the fuel filter. Didn't want to stay running, so I parked it off the side and we used Billy's truck. And I just went down and filled this thing up with fresh fuel and put some diesel fuel additive in it. Drove it up the interstate, it's fine now. I got the truck and trailer all hooked back up. I need to put Tony's and Tessa's Mustang back in the trailer and get everything put away. And then I got to dig some electric line today, I think. Electric trench for the new shop.
Now, the problems I had this morning trying to put fuel in the Excursion, I didn't film. Although I wish I would have, because it would have added to what you're about to watch right now. The battery's dead and it feels like the accelerator pumps aren't working.
Shit. This is a pretty typical problem that you have on cars that are on E85 that sit a lot. Typically what I end up doing is taking the squirter screws out, removing the squirters, and going down in the well with a little pick and knocking the check valve loose. And that's usually all you have to do.
This is a pretty common problem on E85 and methanol carburetors especially. There's a little check valve underneath the squirters that gets stuck once the fuel in the accelerator pump well evaporates. Generally, all you have to do is break them loose with a pick, and voila, you're back in business. And at that point, I should have been back in business. But I can't find my jump pack. Recently, with the blue S10 build going on every single day, no one has taken any time to put tools away or clean up the shop. I looked everywhere and couldn't find my jump pack. So, I settled for some jumper cables and figured I'd use the 64 to jumpstart the Mustang. The recent cold weather has also killed the battery in the 64, so I'm back to square one.
I can't find my jump pack anywhere. The only thing I can think of is that the kids had it the other day when Jimmy Dale was stranded in my Nova.
So at this point, I resort to watching old videos to investigate where my charge pack might be.
I'm not convinced that the Charger is charging.
It's definitely, yeah.
The other day when Jimmy and Tommy took off in my Nova, it left them stranded at 37 and 40. And in the kids' video, I can clearly see what is apparently my jump pack being used in the trunk of my Nova. So I go out to take a look and come up short once again.
Hey look, A1 Auto Parts, just down the road.
Yeah, and Buckeye Lake. Go see my boy in thing 1 and thing 2.
So I guess that's the plan, especially since the battery in Vicky's 64 needs replaced anyway. So I pull a battery out of the truck, load it in the trunk of the 55, and me and June Pup head towards Buckeye Lake, down to see Mark, to pick up a new battery for the 64 and another new jump pack to replace the one that was last seen at this intersection being used by Jimmy Dale and my kids. I need a battery, and I need a jump pack.
Jump pack's right behind you.
Does it happen to have a GPS tracking device?
We can add one.
Well, I need one, evidently.
I'll fix you up. Another one disappeared out. What do you say?
Another one. That thing don't look like it's very good.
It doesn't?
No.
Sure.
No.
Okay, that one probably matters.
That's your personal one.
That's my personal.
So Mark got me hooked up with a new battery for the 64 and his own personal jump pack that he promises me should start this Mustang without any problems. So I go straight back to the house to do battle with the 64 and the Mustang. That's real nice, Clark. Real nice. So the new larger battery in the truck didn't work out like I'd hoped. But Mark's fancy jump pack fired the Mustang up with no problem at all. Once I let the car warm up for a few minutes, I decided to take it around the block and continue on to battle the day. Once I got the Mustang warmed up and running up the road, it ran just fine, no problems there. So it's time to head back to the shop now and get to work doing something I should have been doing hours ago.
Any thoughts?
Patience is a virtue.
Thankfully, Vicky talked Jeremy into coming down to help me with this ditch digging, and once the electrician had the conduit in, I had to commandeer my tractor to do the backfill work. What are you doing? You just dug out all the flowers you just planted.
Those are the kind that you have to plant every year. They're
Why
not
would
the
you
kind-
buy ones you got to plant every
Well,
year?
they're pretty. But so now I'm putting in for spring the kind that just come back like, surprise, they're here. I'm trying, but I cannot get the holes dug. Maybe if I wait till it rains,
There you go.
then maybe Friday or Saturday, but then it's going to be cold.
After I got my tractor back from my wife, I took some pictures of the trench to show the county inspector in the morning and went ahead and backfilled the vast majority of the trench. After I finished backfilling, the electricians managed to get the conduit connected to the barn just before dark. Well, 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 look who it is.
Here we are.
What do you got new for me today, Squirrely Locks?
Oh, just a quick reminder that the 427 stuff, you can get it through Monday, 11:59 p.m.
Oh, yeah. The 427 merch is how you enter to win the 427 small block in my Nova. And unfortunately, I haven't had any time to make any content with it. We're going to try tomorrow.
Well, you've been a bit busy.
I have been a bit busy, yes.
But,
Yes.
yeah, so anything that you purchase up to 11:59 Monday night, the 20th, you're in.
And also a reminder about that little blue S10
Yep,
sitting in there.
yep.
You can enter to win that on streetracingchannel.com.
And that's going into December. You have more time.
Yeah, you've
on
got
that.
more time on that. But
Yeah.
the 427 small block that's in my Nova, that ends Monday.
Yes. So what else? Oh, guess what was in the mail?
What?
Jury duty.
What? For
For
you?
you.
Oh. So when do I have to start?
It says right after the Thanksgiving weekend.
So any of you guys that are jammed up in Licking County, if you've got a court date after Thanksgiving, hit me up and let's get this worked out, right? I mean, that's how this works.
I don't know.
Buy off a jury member?
I have a
You
feeling.
think I'll get out of jury duty?
I have a feeling this questionnaire is probably going to rule you out. If
I
they get your
guarantee you I'm going to
opinion-
get ruled out
if
one way or
they
the other.
Get your opinion on a few of these things.
All right, ask me a question.
Have you or any member of your family ever been sued by another person?
No.
Have you ever been a victim of a crime? Yes, when our dually got stolen.
Yeah,
So we're holding a grudge.
we are. Stupid thieves.
We hate them all.
We hate all of you. All right.
Um,
What else you got?
I don't know. Honey. You might not get out of this.
I'm getting out of it.
You've even got your Dash parking pass. Like, they're ready for you.
No, they're
boy.
not.